Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's video. My name is Coach Steve, and I'm the founder of Joy and Success Coaching. For today's video, I have a special guest with us, a friend of mine I had met through LinkedIn. This is Diddy Vazquez, and I'm going to let her take it from here, tell you guys more about the coaching company she runs.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. My name is Diddy Vazquez. Like you mentioned, I have a Diddy Vazquez Consulting, and this is individual and corporate coaching and consulting. So, what I do is I help people break through the mental glass ceilings to achieve what they want, whether that is certain promotions at work or being able to have a different relationship in your family or transforming the way that you are treating your body and health wise. All those things, the decisions that you make on a daily basis are based on rules that you hold subconsciously in your mind. So you unknowingly, we are 95% of our behaviors every day are based on these subconscious beliefs. Some serve you, some don't. So my job is to help you set goals that are what you truly want, what your heart truly desires. And in the fulfillment of those goals, you're going to come in contact with some limiting beliefs, some imposter syndromes, and things that are really deeply rooted in your mind that you are unconscious about that will work through for you to plow through that barrier and be able to keep moving towards your goals. A lot of people set goals at the beginning of the year, and then the motivation and the momentum kind of dies down after a few weeks or maybe a couple of months into your project. So that happens because you subconsciously may not believe that that's available for you, that you're capable of, and that you're worthy of that kind of success. So we really get to the root cause of what your results are and help you transform those root beliefs so that you can move forward in your goals.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've heard a lot of studies say that after New Year's resolution gets made, most people stop by February and that's that. So now, how
Yeah.
long have you been doing this coaching company for?
Well, I have been into the field for about 7 years now. It wasn't until 2022, so for maybe about 2 years now, that I decided to make it a profession or something that I do for other people. I had done it for me, myself, and I've achieved so much. And we mentioned it before, I have a NASA day job. I've been fortunate enough to work with, just kind of almost like pinch me. I have a lot of pinch me moments in my career, that I've been able to be involved in a project and that kind of mission. So I was able to apply these, knowledge about the mind, about my behavior, about the way that I stand up and really contribute what I really have to say in those meetings. I may have a seat at the table, but do I have a voice at the table, right? Am I truly opening myself up to contributing everything that I have to contribute? Because I've been picked for that team because they think I'm an expert, right? So am I really speaking up and contributing when I'm seeing things differently? That's a big mental barrier there. A lot of people, very highly analytical people, have. So so I was able to see in my own experience how the work that I was studying about the mind and my decisions and my behavior allowed me to contribute in these work environments in a way that it catapulted my performance. I automatically was called to other bigger projects, and how my career kind of like moved up, bounced upwards from that because of my just intentionality of just fully being able to be present and contribute the best I could, taking in everybody's view, not dismissing everybody, not judging. So that kind of leadership just shows through, and it's able to catapult your results in that way. And then I also was applying the same, identifying these limiting beliefs and shifting them to a positive in my family. So I saw how my relationship with my spouse, my kids, it all catapulted up as well at the same time. Not only that, I was a very anxious person. I've always been very anxious and very, I call it the hustle mind. Like always trying to get better. I was trying to do the best thing, and always trying to analyze what's the best thing to do, and always try not to hurt people. You always get in this like mental hamster wheel, I call it, of like trying to get to a place of perfection, right? That happens a lot to very high achievers. High achievers are also not enoughers. So it's never enough. What you do is never enough. So I dealt with that a lot, and And being able to learn techniques to kind of calm your mind and get into that state of flow and alignment to kind of what you're working on. Get to focus on the project that the goal that you have or whatever it is, kind of calm your mind and redirect your thoughts towards that. There's a big power in that because that's where you're putting your energy. That's where you're directing your life in that direction. So all these things I learned along the way, kind of banging myself through the journey of my own. So I felt, in 2002, I felt a calling that that I wanted to share that with other people because I was seeing how much it was benefiting me and how I was emotionally in my family and in my career just advancing. My emotional well-being just increased so much, and I feel like this is way too good to keep it for myself. So everybody that is ready to really experience life in a different way, I want to be there to be able to help them out. So.
Well, that's wonderful. And I guess you may have spoken to this a little bit right there, but how did you find coaching as a career path?
I got a mentor. I wanted to get my next level mentor. I'm always, getting to higher levels of understanding, higher levels of knowledge that you want to increase your mentorship as well. So I wanted to find a mentor that could teach me deeper about the mind, and I couldn't find anybody that didn't have what I already kind of have known and researched myself. So it wasn't until I went to an event from Proctor Gallagher, and that if you know Bob Proctor, he was mostly known by the movie The Secret and Manifestation, and also he focused on two big things. Identifying, he called it the paradigm. This set of limiting beliefs, he called it the paradigm. So he was big into shifting your paradigm, identifying, the paradigm shift that you need to where you want to be, and kind of focusing on that and plowing through those mental barriers. But he also was given the book Think and Grow Rich when he was in his 20s struggling, and was mentored in how to apply those principles to his life. And within a year, he had a company that operated in different countries, and it was achieved higher amounts of prosperity and success in that way. And so it was the same principles that we study about the mind, the manifestation, and all that. So he dedicated his life to teaching people how to break through the mental barriers, and their whole life will increase. And he focused a little bit on prosperity and kind of those limiting beliefs that mostly come from your childhood, your relationship with money, your relationship with what's available to you. All that comes from your upbringing. So so he focused on that, so the mentor that I found that I felt like it could teach me something about the mind was one of his best students, one of his top coaches in his company. And now Bob Proctor by this time had already passed away, but he had a company that he had founded with Sandy Gallagher. She was like a finance attorney, a banking attorney, banking mergers and acquisitions. She did multi-billion-dollar deals. They got together because she went to one of his seminars and saw that these principles could help the banking industry. So she was like, oh my God, she made it her goal to make a program that could be applied to everything, corporate and people, and individuals. So they make this program called Thinking into Results. And so I got my coaching and from that company, not really knowing about Thinking into Results. And 2 weeks into my coaching program, I formed a study group, and I started almost like with a whiteboard teaching, what the program was saying. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready. So I called my coach and I said, you as my mentor, I want you to tell, and this is, very emotional in my voice. Like I found my passion. Like I wanted to feel every day the way I felt when I was explaining that. So I called my mentor and I said, you as my mentor, I want you to let me know a way that I can do this for a living. And he said, well, we have a consulting division of people that get trained and certified to be able to teach this information. So, and I signed up, same day I signed up. And it was a 6-month coaching program. I was 2 weeks in, and I just felt so connected to the calling that I was feeling, and just kind of, you learn to kind of recognize that intuition and how it feels in your body. So I knew it was the right thing to do for me. And it was right along what I've been trying to manifest some way that I can direct my life and generating income and doing what I love. And so it just kind of all plays together, and then the rest is history. I'm here.
That's one why you said that was Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher.
Yes, Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. Yeah, and the company is called Proctor Gallagher. It used to be Proctor Gallagher Institute. I think that after he passed away, they went through some kind of redesigning of the mission and vision. So yeah, I think it's called Proctor Gallagher now.
Okay, wonderful. So now, what have you found to be the most difficult thing about starting up the company, and how did you overcome that difficulty?
That's easy. The most difficult thing has been shifting from so when I work at NASA, I used to having a lot of decision authority, and what I say, everybody kind of has to stick to and go by, right? So my job has been to uh, take everybody's perspective so that we can make the most informed decision. But once the decision is made, we made it, we sign it, and everybody has to follow along. So in an entrepreneurship type of thing, you don't have that authority. You have to really be able to convey what you're doing without seeming like you're trying to convince somebody to spend their money on you, right? It's a very different way to go about providing that value. So I am so used to just saying, hey, this is the best thing to do. I understand you disagree, but we're going to make a decision. This is it. To like, oh, no, you didn't understand. Like, maybe I'm not explaining it right. Like, what I have can change your life. What I have can really improve those sleepless nights where you only can think about the mistake that you made during the day, and your critical mind is going at you, and you're creating these doomsday scenarios in your mind. There's freedom from that. You can get free from that if you really understand what's happening, because in a way you're directing your energy through your thoughts to that story, and you're feeding that story, and nobody can stop it but you. So training yourself to detach from that mental story um, gives you great power to really not allow that to then take emotional hold on you. Because think about it, I don't know, if you're a relationship coach, so you probably understand this. Like whenever you get triggered, like a partner gets triggered by a behavior from the other person, they start creating this doomsday scenario in their mind, how they're just not, they don't love them, you do this to hurt me, like da, da, da. And in reality, more than likely they just are oblivious to what they did that hurt you. Like they don't have any idea. They think they love you. Sometimes they have the best mood, and then you're here like holding on this resentment. Like it's something that happens in your mind. It's not happening in the physical world unless you don't take a you don't take control of it, and eventually it will show in your behavior, and you're going to attack that person, and you're going to express all your resentment and express all that, and the person is like, what do you mean, like like it just is a dissonance between both mental stories, because it's all happening inside. So really understanding the power comes from understanding and awareness of what's happening, so that you then can take control of it, and not control away in a pushy way, like authority way, but in a loving way. Like, oh, I, I'm letting my mind, if you can just kind of extend some kindness and compassion to yourself in the moment, then you can kind of move through those emotions effectively, so that it doesn't really have to show. You don't need to have this outrageous reaction to a seemingly small event in your life. So understanding where that comes from, understand that you're triggering a lot of stuck emotions from the past, and allowing that to move through in a way that's healthy for you, that's effective, and that you calibrate to something higher. All that is kind of the mechanics of energy, the mechanics of your mind. So understanding all that and having techniques to apply that on a regular basis really design a happier life for you.
Yeah, I've heard it referred to in a way as asking your partner as a doctor to prescribe you a cure for a disease they didn't even know you had.
Right, right, absolutely. And it happens. It happens. I mean, it happens to all of us. It really happens to all of us. So I think that there is a lot of people need to know that it's okay for that to happen. That that's just normal. I don't want people to feel shame because that happens. Because shame, then it's part of that hamster wheel of of you feeling like you're not enough yet, and then you suffer because, oh my God, I thought I needed to be perfect by now. I think I'm not perfect. Like, it's not gonna, you're not gonna get to a perfection place. So, loving yourself for what's happening right now, and in the success that you've had so far, the fact that you're intending to treat your partner better, that is a step forward in itself. So now that you recognize that you perhaps did not behave the way that you wanted to, it's awareness. So let's celebrate that. And then from that place, we set our intention to do better tomorrow. My coach, my first mentor at Proctor Gallagher, told me, the requirement is to be 1% better every day. If you can commit to be 1% better every day, then that adds up over time. So just celebrate the 1% of today.
Yeah, those moments of growth begin to compound.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So now, do you have any funny or interesting stories about your coaching experience?
Funny stories. Well, there's funny stories in the sense that when I'm faced with reaching out to somebody that I think I can help, or that I think that I could provide some value to what they're working on, how my mind tells me all the things in which think they're gonna hate me, that they're gonna think that who do you are to reach out to me, like that who are you to tell me what to do, so I have all these thoughts that come to my mind, and if I let them really take a hold of me, they will stop me. So, but I know how this works, so I know that you have to take the action in spite of that fear, and because the fear is not really real. So, in this situation, and I want to be clear that I'm not saying that every time you feel fear, you have to do it anyways, because fear is there for a reason, right? So you have to really detach from the mental story so you can make an objective evaluation of what the fear that you're perceiving, the risk that you're perceiving. So it's not reckless action, but in things like this, I'm helping. I'm trying to help you. I know how to help you, and I can help you. So if I can answer those questions, then I'll just make the call anyways, or reach out anyways. And the funny thing is that what really happens, the real reaction, is the opposite of what was in my mind. So in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, I was worried for nothing. I thought I was gonna die. And in reality, they want me to talk to their friends now. They want to bring me to their business. They want to do all these things. So that is sometimes it's funny to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that's what I was telling myself. But another thing that happened that was funny is that I had a big paradigm about sharing kind of the law of attraction and how it works. Because a lot of people think that that's maybe woo, or like, or just kind of, oh, here they are with attraction again, roll their eyes. So you fear a lot of rejection when you're trying to get into this field. And so I was going to plow through that terror barrier, and I was going to make a webinar. And I had, I invited some people, and about 25 people showed up, and uh, I was so excited. I was so pumped. Like, I was getting in the frequency of it. Like, I was, and I was visualizing how I was going to go. And I decided that I wanted to draw. I like to have a whiteboard. So I like to draw. That's kind of what I'm good at. So I put my computer is a touch screen with a stylus, so I can, use it as a whiteboard. So I wanted to share my screen on Zoom so that I could write. So I decided to put my computer right in front of me, and it's a tablet type of thing. Um, so I can adjust the monitor order in my settings. So now when I was moving my mouse to the right, it was going to the left.